The bones which come out of the permafrost are bones which have been frozen since thousands of years, and they look like the animal was living yesterday. So the quality is superb, I would say.
Kind of an unusual sort of connection, if you will, with the animal, and just knowing that you're still smelling some of its original organic parts that are rotting away still today, thousands of years later after this animal died.
Once I did an excavation together with a team of a carcass of a woolly mammoth. And it was not a skeleton, it was a really carcass. So the fur, the skin, everything was preserved. And also the intestine. And in the intestine, there was still dung left over. And the dung was analyzed by paleoecologists. And they figured out exactly what was the last meal of this woolly mammoth. And of course, the meal of the mammoth is telling what the menu was on the Mammoth Steppe. But here we have so many bison remains. I would say that this was more an environment for the steppe bison. So instead of speaking of the Mammoth Steppe, which was covering the northern hemisphere, maybe we should speak about the steppe bison belt.
Now look at this one here, it's still got flesh and in between the vertebrae.
Yeah, that's very nice. We never find that in Holland.
I'll put this on a special table.
Yeah. This is the way it should be.
Wow, hold it, I'm gonna take your picture again. Thanks.
I'll put it like this so you can find it.
Cool.
The bones which come out of the permafrost are bones which have been frozen since thousands of years, and they look like the animal was living yesterday. So the quality is superb, I would say. We know there's a lot of collagen in the bone, which is necessary to do radiocarbon dating. But it's also necessary to do stable isotope investigations and DNA research.
Right here in my hand, I'm holding a chunk of a long bone from a mammoth. And it's a very interesting chunk of bone. It was really neat as I was playing around with this, I noticed that there's actually some soft tissue. So this is a little bit of probably tendon, you know, some very tough soft tissue that is kind of captured by this little extra bone growth. And I pulled it out and it felt just like beef jerky, or in this case, it's mammoth jerky. It's very soft and pliable, and it's really exciting when we find things like soft tissue, because as paleontologists, most of our work deals with bones and teeth. When we find soft tissue, we get pretty excited. This isn't something that we find every day. And you can do really cool things with soft tissue too. I mean, this is actually something we could cut up and put under a microscope and look at the cellular detail. Some types of soft tissue like fur are actually very good for extracting things like DNA out of. And those types of studies have become increasingly important in studying animals from the Ice Age.
In our bones, we have flesh of woolly mammoths stuck between vertebrae. We have all kinds of material that might be viable DNA material, but I'm not, you know, you probably don't know this, but I don't have a degree in DNA material. I missed that part of the classroom. But you remember I said I was a shitty student.
To clone a mammoth and bring it back on Earth, that makes no sense. I'm in favor for doing DNA investigations on these bones, but not with the goal to clone the mammoth and bring the animal back to life. As an example, Mammoths originated on the African continent some 5 million years ago, spread out over the African continent, came into the old world as an ancestral mammoth, spread out over Europe, Asia, and also showed up via Beringia in the New World. And if we want to understand the extinction of these animals, we need to study these animals individually. So all these bones tell a wonderful story about the fauna composition, which will tell us about the environment. Was it grassland? Was it savanna-like environment? Was it a forested area? Or was it, we don't know yet. The animal became extinct because there was a reason for it. We should not clone the mammoth and bring it back on Earth.
I think the next time that I get some soft tissue from a woolly mammoth, I'm going to take it home and put it in some chili. And we're going to have a woolly mammoth chili cook-off. And I'm the only one that's going to enter. No.
This is a tibia, a shy bone of a wild horse. Not very large, but we can see from the shaft that the epiphyses, the joints, are fused. So it means that the animal was a full-grown individual. This bone looks so beautiful because we can see quite a lot of dendrites on it, formed by water. Often it is thought that what we see here, these little structures, that it is plant remains, but it's not true. It's just water between the frozen black muck and the bone.
One of the really interesting things about this deposit is the amazing amount of ecological information that's clearly available to us. And so, for example, there's a lot of bison bones. And so here is the metacarpal bone, one of the hand bones. We have 5 metacarpal bones leading to 5 sets of fingers. Bison just have the 1 metacarpal bone leading to 2 fingers, right? You can think of these guys. So here's a metacarpal of an adult bison that was found in the deposit. Here's the same element, the same skeletal element, a metacarpal, the same side even, of a yearling bison, okay? And here now is what looks to be the tibia, so the shin bone, of a baby bison. So we have, just from a real brief looking at some of these bones, basically the whole life cycle of one species living in this one place, right? So that's a really sort of profound look at the capacity of this location to really foster this species throughout its entire time. It's the whole life cycle, which is really unique.
This is a nice little bone, entirely complete, wonderful preserved. It's a neck vertebra. It's a neck vertebra of an Ice Age caribou, a small individual, not too big, and the preservation is excellent. It's like the animal was living yesterday.
You see here, this is a shed antler of a quite a large bull caribou. You can see this is the part where it attaches to the frontal bones of the skull, so sort of right here-ish, right? So, and the way caribou work is the males will grow these really big displays, these huge antlers, and they'll use them to basically harvest out a territory from other males so they can have access to those females. They get a harem that way. And then after they mate, they drop them, they fall off, right? And that happens every single year. They grow a new set and they shed them after they mate. And as it turns out, if you look at this deposit has a huge number of shed male caribou antlers. And what that tells you, what that indicates, is that this terrain, which not only was host to bison and all of their life cycles, this was a great area for caribou mating. So that's a really sort of unique and important indicator of how this landscape was used thousands of years ago.
So this is part of the day's catch. One of the bones that was excavated only 2 days ago from the boneyard. This is a mammoth. This is the upper end, the shoulder end of the humerus, the upper leg bone. You can actually see the nice smooth surface there in front of me that is actually the part of the humerus that articulated with the scapula, with the shoulder blade. The other side here being a big area for muscle attachments. And this is a heavy bone, and I'm only holding the very end of the bone, and it's heavy. That being said, it's not rock. This is still good bone. The other thing that I really get struck with is it smells. It smells like an animal that, well, died not that horribly long ago. I can smell basically still some of the organic matter that's still rotting. It's a very distinctive, pungent odor in my nose. So these bones, you know, you feel them and you smell them, and you get the full sense experience when you work in bones in this deposit. You can also see on the inside there, in the shaft of the bone, it's all the spongy bone on the interior. And, oh boy, yeah, it's getting heavy. Ugh.
If you give it a proper perspective, our lifespans are, if we're lucky, 100 years. But these critters were wandering around 25,000 years ago. That's like a whole bunch of lifetimes. So, and the last one went extinct before civilization even had a brain.
Yeah, you're not only experiencing the mammoth in like one sense, we're using all of our senses, you know, this heavy bone that stinks. You really feel, you know, like you're kind of an unusual sort of connection, if you will, with the animal, and just knowing that you're still smelling some of its original organic parts that are rotting away still today, thousands of years later after this animal died. It's quite remarkable.
It's dripping water, isn't it?
Yeah, and other gooeys.
Anybody that stood on the hand on a giant, it's a force of nature to have that amount of water coming in at that kind of pressure. If you see a fire truck shooting water up 15 stories, oh, that's the kind of pressure that that giant's putting out. You have a method to how you wash the muck to make sure it gets thawed and goes downstream. Therapeutic, yeah. I mean, I'd rather do that than play golf, I tell you that right now. I'd rather do that than chase women. I'd rather do that than do hard drugs. I'd rather do that than work 9 to 5. I don't think anybody has a better job than I got. I play in the mud every fucking day. I play in the mud every day. Pick whatever one you like.
We often get sort of distracted by the charismatic megafauna, the mammoths and the bison and the carnivores. Coexisting with these animals and very much an important part of the ecosystem were the small mammals and birds. And in fact, insects and right on down to other types of invertebrates. They are almost certainly a part of this deposit as well, and it's really nice to take the sediment that the bones are in and occasionally just carefully screen through that. So wash them in water, screen out the bones, and we find things, for example, like Arctic ground squirrels.
Permafrost of Northern America is well known for ground squirrels, which were living at the same time as the mammoths. And ground squirrel burrows can be easily recognized in the frozen ground. And when you follow them, you can even find storage rooms which these animals have created during the Pleistocene, putting seeds and grasses inside for better times. When we find these ground squirrel nests, we can analyze all these remains from the storage room, telling what the vegetation was looking like. And sometimes we found these ground squirrel nests completely filled up with even the animals inside because they died during hibernation in wintertime. Unfortunately, here in the gold mine of Mr. Reeves, we have not seen any of them, but I hope I explained him to look for it, and hopefully in the next future he will find some of these squirrel nests as well.